Huh. All right. Any questions before we get cranked up?
Yeah. I'm not in any of the groups.
Oh, okay. Probably Blaylock and Blondin both need to be put in groups, right?
Yeah.
Let me just make y'all a group.
Wait, I don't think I'm in one either.
What's your name?
JC Cook.
All right. All right, I'll try to work on that. There's nothing going on with them yet, but I am trying to get them set up so we're ready to roll when the time comes. Hopefully by Tuesday, but I've got crap over the weekend, so you may have to remind me again. Let me check something. Who was it? Cook. I want to see, because the other two weren't in my role, so that's why y'all aren't there. But it may be that okay. Batting order. Okay, Cook, you are in group 4.
Okay, I think I might have gotten kicked off last Zoom if that's when y'all did that.
It'll be in the Moodle. There's a Moodle discussion and it gives out group assignments. And if you know what you want to work on as a group, go ahead and put those down and then I can set that up over the weekend. Otherwise, we'll work on it next Tuesday. I think that's the day I had. Oh, and can y'all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's what. Okay. I was confused. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Any more questions before we do heroic shit? I'm not sure. Epic. If Beowulf. Oh, but. Hold on, I'm hunting my notes. Huh, well, I had notes. Well, let's just mow. I think I can do this without notes. We do have the Odyssey. All right, so Beowulf was composed probably around 750, but this means that it was created by a singer who probably didn't write it down. So it would have circulated from mouth to mouth, which means every time it was sung, it was a little bit different. And you would see this especially in those side stories where they talk about this, that, and the other, and all these heroes that have nothing to do with the story. But if a singer is in a place where they have connections to these other things, they can work it in. Now, it's finally written down about 1000 AD. The Christians have come back. As we mentioned last time, they've created an alphabet for Anglo-Saxon. They start writing stuff down in Anglo-Saxon. And the two things we looked at last time, Dream of the Rood and Genesis A and B, are biblical stories that they've taken from the Bible, then reworked them into a form that makes sense to this tribal warrior culture. So suddenly Jesus is a great like military hero almost, and they interpret the dying on the cross in that sense. It makes sense for them for a warrior to give their lives in the defense of their people, as we see Beowulf eventually doing. That's a noble death, is to die with honor on the battlefield. And so they reinterpret Jesus' cross that way. Genesis A and B. Similarly, they had a war in heaven, which is not in Genesis. Why? Because wars are cool and all their stories have them, so we need a war. Now, Beowulf is an originally pagan story that we've sprinkled Christianity onto. Think Christmas, think Easter, all the pagan stuff that we see around those holidays. But we've looked at them another way through the lens of Christianity. Let's see. Oh, let's get a map. I think that's the main thing I needed. I like the ones in color. Okay, so England is off to the left side of the map. And here are all the people who were busy invading England. The southern ones come with the Germanic invasions, the Frisians, Angles, Saxons, Utes. The Danes and the Yachts and the Whifflings and the Swedes, they come later with the Viking invasion. These are the Vikings. And you can see they live close to each other. Their mythology tends to overlap some. And this word, it looks like Geats, but it's pronounced yachts, like, you know, the stuff your rich uncle had, the boat your rich uncle has. So it looks very differently. When I say yacht, I'm talking about this group of people. And so this story is all set over in the old country. It's a story they obviously brought with them in some form to England, but then the monks got a hold of it and changed it in ways, well, we will see. Father Ecgtheow owed the Danish king because he had raised blood money for him. So Beowulf repays the debt. Okay, so in a primitive tribal society, the number one link between people is blood. So if you have some kind of blood relationship, we're kin, most of the time you go with your kin folks, whether they're right or wrong, because that's a tribal culture. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that either. I'm trying to get this so it works well for me, but looks good on the video. Come on. Okay, so, oh, I know. This is my blackboard for the class. So the number one connection is, are we related by blood? Are we kin? It was possible to form another layer of, there's ways for people to get along who aren't directly related to each other. The ancient idea of hospitality and friendship. So somebody comes and visits, you take them in, you throw them a banquet, you give them lovely parting gifts, and then someday they return the favor. This kind of relationship is based not on blood, but on the giving and receiving of favors to each other. And so Beowulf's father has received a gift of friendship from Hrothgar. Now it's the family's duty to go to Hrothgar when he's in need. But dad's too old, too weak, can't do it. And so the obligation passes down to the next generation. So friendship is not simply a relationship between two individuals, but between my family and your family, my tribe and your tribe. So off Beowulf goes. Now, what's the problem? Hrothgar seems to be guilty of the sin of pride. And you'll notice that there are at least 4 of the 7 deadly sins worked into this. Why? Because monks. You've got this great story. You want to write it down, but your father superior, whatever the head of the monastery is called, he's a little suspicious of this pagan story. And you say, wait, it can be very Christian. Remember the proto-evangelium, that lovely Latin word? Didn't we study that last time? I think so. Wait, there's a lot that we can spin in a Christian way. So Hrothgar is rich, he's powerful, he builds the greatest mead hall that, for us to get together and get drunk in, and everybody will tell me how spectacular it is. And so it's a little overbearing. And if you flaunt what you have too much, you're inviting disaster. At a Jewish wedding to this day, at some point in the wedding, they'll put a glass under a handkerchief and then step on it because they don't want it to be a perfect day and invite bad luck. So something's got to go wrong. Now, I don't know. I've never been to a Jewish wedding, but I've been to some Baptist ones. Shit always goes wrong. But anyway, just in case everything happened to go right, here we're going to break this glass. Anyway, they don't break the goblet they're drinking out of. And who comes up but Grendel? And he's looking in, and he's not invited to their reindeer games. And therefore, he gets envious. I think I've got a chart. Yeah. So Grendel is envious of them with all their fancy ways and all their mead and their drinking hall. And, it makes him mad to see all these people this happy, and he's on the outside. So Grendel has what the kids call FOMO, or fear of missing out. I think FOMO may be behind a lot of the the COVID parties I keep seeing on TV. Hope you're not having a COVID party. And please, if you do, don't videotape it and get it on the news. We don't need that kind of publicity. Let LSU take care of that. Did you hear the whole LSU football team has COVID? So yeah, be careful out there, folks. So envy, feuding is wrath. I should have put that. The dragon is greed, and Hrothgar is pride. So that's 4 of the 7. What are the ones we're missing? They may be in here too. Let's hope this is a list. All right. Oh, well, add to pride what goes on in those giant mead halls when you're getting drunk. That would be gluttony. And of course, what else happens when you get drunk? That would be lust. So we've got lust, gluttony, greed. Sloth, you don't get a lot of work done when you're drunk and, following your lustful and gluttonous impulses. So I think the mead hall is just a barrel of deadly sins. And it doesn't specify, but you can, where would these sins be? Oh, well, they kind of fit there. Instead of properly crediting God, Hrothgar builds his big building and everybody's praising him. So Grendel is a scourge to punish Hrothgar's pride. God's run out of locusts, so he sends Grendel. Now, who is Grendel? Grendel is the child of Grendel's mother, who is the descendant of Cain. And so again, these Nordic monsters that are part of their mythology, probably originally in the pagan world came from somewhere else. So now we're Christianizing this universe, and we've got to find a place to put Grendel. Like, where's Grendel going to fit? Oh, I know, Cain. So he's a descendant of Cain, and Cain gave birth not only to murderers, but to monsters, witches, and Grendel, he's like a lizard man almost. His skin's so tough. So Grendel kills 30 men. Beowulf has the strength of 30 men. Plus Beowulf's name. I can leave that up there. It means bee-wolf. And what kind of animal is a bee-wolf? He's a predator that searches for honey.
Bear.
Bear, that's right.
Bear.
So Beowulf's token animal then is a bear. It's a bear. And there's almost a shapeshifter quality to this. You may not turn into a bear, but you channel the energy of a bear. And this is especially true for a Viking in battle. Did I spell that right? Yes. Okay. Well, happy accident. So when you're in battle and you're a Viking, you go berserk, bear-zerk. In other words, you're overtaken by the spirit of the bear, which is strong as 30 people, right? And you go out there and you kill people. So the Roman fighting machine is very rational. They've got all the same kind of weapons. They're in lines. They practice this stuff to work together like a unit. It's a well-oiled, coordinated machine against the berserkers who just roar, they channel this adrenaline and get themselves charged up, and they go up and start chopping people. And in an open field battle between Romans and the Vikings really don't stand a chance. But the Romans have died, right? They're gone. There are no more legions. And so these frightening people who have turned into animals, and what are they wearing? It's not the, regimented armor and uniform of the Romans. They've got on the skins of the animals they've killed. I was watching a nature program one day, and it was mostly about a pride of lions. Oh, crap. So we're following this pride of lions around for a year. And, they're killing and eating lots of stuff because that's what lions do. And this one day, the pride is just lying around under some trees, la-di-da, they're all relaxing. You see these three guys in the distance, just walking toward a big pride of lions. There's like 10, 15 lions in this pride. And here come these three guys in the distance. They aren't walking. They aren't running. They aren't sneaking. They're just walking toward the lions in these red, is that a tunic? And with spears. And guess what the lions did? This is delivery, right? Here comes lunch. Is that what the lions thought? Oh, hell no, the lions ran away. Why? Because they're Maasai. And for hundreds of years, Maasai warriors, as you grow up to become a man, you prove you're a man and a warrior by going out and killing a lion with a stick. You see these rich asshole people who fly in on a plane. There's a lion chained out there. They shoot the lion with some kind of huge rocket launcher, and then they go over, look what I've done. No, no guns, a stick with a point on it. And they're going to go kill a lion. And the lions know this, and they're afraid. Well, guess what? When other people saw that lions were afraid of Maasai, they didn't fuck with the Maasai. It's like, no. We'll leave them alone too. If they're tough enough to scare lions, I think we better just move on by. So Beowulf is a man who is a bear. And you come out and you're fighting, and you've got this bear skin on, and you've got these bear teeth around you. And what are you telling your enemy? You're telling your enemy, I killed a fucking bear. What do you think I'm going to do to you when I go berserk? So Beowulf, Beowulf, even the name means something. And so Beowulf comes, now he boasts, because boasting is how you get yourself, as I said last time, ready for battle. But it's more of a boast with the acknowledgement that God's behind you, that God will determine the outcome. So it's not a sin of pride. It becomes, warrior culture becomes problematic when pride becomes a sin. Original warrior culture, pride's good. You're supposed to be proud. And we have that duality today. Sometimes pride is a good word, sometimes not. All right, so here are all the major characters. These make wonderful matching questions. By the way, on the quiz, it'll be available tomorrow through the weekend. It's only over the stuff from Caesar and Tuesday's class, not over Beowulf. We'll do Beowulf all in next week when we do the next quiz. That way you don't have so much to go over in your studying. Okay. I'm going to show you a curve, the hero's arc. And it's not from this class. It's not from that class either. It's from 406. And we need Gilgamesh. He'll be at the front. Here we go. All right, here we go. So Gilgamesh has this arc. If I were in class, I would draw it. I don't have a real good drawing. I can't really draw on a computer. So Beowulf's arc is similar. It's a rise and then a fall. This is a tragic universe we live in, where the hero often dies. I mean, we always die, right? It's just, do we track it to that point? And so where we have Gilgamesh's adventures, imagine Beowulf. So defeating Grendel is the first one. At the height, he gets Grendel's mother. And then at the end, he faces hold on, sorry. All right, so what are we talking about? Oh, last is when he's an old man, he faces the dragon. And they seem to happen, you know, they tell them back to back, but if you read it carefully, you'll see there's passage of time, especially between Adventure 2 and Adventure 3. So the map of tragedy is of a hero's rise and fall. The map and arc of comedy is a hero going down into some kind of valley and then coming out. And this is represented by the masks of tragedy and comedy, where you see the comic arc down and then up, that makes us smile. Up and then down, that makes a frown, and it's so sad. So Beowulf's arc is a tragic arc. It's going to be a great hero, and he's not falling due to any real flaw on his part. He's just old. He's human. Berserk or not, Wolfman, Bearman or not. It's hard for anybody to live forever. Even the bears die after a while. All right, so Grendel represents envy and anger. He starts coming in the dark and killing people and slaughtering them in their sleep. And then the warriors are never able to win when they fight him. So Beowulf comes in. He's strong enough. They have a wrestling match. And his skin, Grendel's skin, is too thick. That's why I said he's like a lizard man. He's got scales that prevent any blade from piercing it. But what you can do is rip his arm out of his socket, which is a magnificent feat of strength, especially for, you know, a monster. It would be hard to rip a person's arm out of their socket. And so Beowulf fighting just with his bare hands at this point. So everybody's happy. They think they're going to live happily ever after, but they forgot Mommy Dearest. Grendel has a mother. Now, here's a place where we see the difference in a tribal ethic versus, you know, the Romans brought law, which is supposed to apply to everybody equally. And the law is supposed to be paramount, and the city of Rome is supposed to be paramount. And it's told in their founding myth or legend about the original founder of the Roman Republic was this guy named Brutus. He was the ancestor of Julius Caesar's Brutus. And supposedly his sons conspired with the former kings to bring them back. And Brutus killed his own sons because they had betrayed the city. So the city is supposed to replace the tribe in your loyalty, but that's gone. It's only the tribe now. Nothing bigger exists. So you side with the people in your tribe. So Grendel's a terrible monster. He's hideous. He's horrible. He's ugly. He's brutal. But he's my son.
He eats people.
What's that?
Eats people.
Yes, he eats people. But he's my baby. And so I've got to side with him. That is the tribal ethos. It's my family, regardless of what they do. You may have heard the saying, blood is thicker than water. That's where this comes from. So water is the idea that killing people and eating them and being envious is bad. But blood says he's still my son. So he comes back, his arm's ripped off, and mom's really pissed off about that. And so she starts a feud, which we could call, is being fueled by wrath. That's the normal way we talk about this deadly sin. So we've got pride, we've got envy, we've got wrath. And there's no larger social organization to dial back, to settle this. So she can't, there's no cop. There's no emperor. You've got a couple of kings who are fighting in the Roman Empire. Well, the Roman emperor may have something to say about that, and he'll settle this. So there's no system to untangle this stuff. The justice you get is the justice you take. And so she goes out and she takes some justice from these people by feuding with them. But then the same is true of Hrothgar. The justice he can get is the justice he can take through his champion Beowulf. So here we see Beowulf bringing out his swimming expertise. Because swimming's a whole other thing. Did you watch that Bruce Willis movie Unbreakable, where he's like a real life superhero, and he can fight really well? Yeah. He's super strong. He's got spider sense about who's dangerous, but his kryptonite is water. If he gets in water, he's going to drown. So Beowulf, his superpowers include the water. So he swims. Any one of us would be dead, but he's Beowulf. And he gets to her underground lair, whereupon he finds a magical elfin dagger, which we see later, of course, in Lord of the Rings and what was the Hobbit? So Sting. It's basically the model for Sting.
It was in both.
What's that?
It was in both.
Yeah. And by the way, the reason we're reading Beowulf is because of JRR Token. At the time he came along and was being trained, the general approach to Beowulf was to read it to understand Anglo-Saxon. So you would read Beowulf in Anglo-Saxon class to learn Anglo-Saxon. But, it was all about the words and the grammar and the this and the that. Token said, this is an awesome story. Plus, I want to steal parts of it for my own writing. So I'm going to really push it. And in his scholarly writing, he was a scholar first before he was
Wasn't he a linguist, and that's how he found out about it?
Yes, exactly. Only linguists were reading this. And he said, we ought to make this available in modern English. And, it's a great story. So he pushed it out, made the argument that we should all be reading Beowulf. And that's why we're all reading Beowulf. Thank you, JRR Token. But then the dragon, the sword, the whole thought about we need a hobbit who can steal, we need a thief, because there are no heroes, the heroes are dead. Well, the hero is Beowulf that he has in mind. And he's saying, I'm rewriting Beowulf, but without Beowulf. So who's it going to be instead? Oh, little thief. So Grendel's mother represents feuding. He gets to her in her lair. They have it out. This time he needs the sword, the magic sword, in addition to his own personal bear-like strength to overcome the monster. Well, and then they live happily ever after for 50 years or so until this dragon appears. And the dragon represents the vice of greed. Now, all of these vices, envy, feuding, greed, pride, sloth, you know, the way they are not issues with literal monsters out there. These are the monsters we carry inside us, right? And anytime you have a monster, it will represent something of your own period. It's a symbol. So a later dragon than the dragon here would be Godzilla. What does Godzilla represent? Greed and hoarding?
Nah, Godzilla's just there to destroy shit.
Yeah, but where's he come from?
The ocean.
Not first. He was on an island, and what happened to that island?
He was created by nuclear fallout.
Right. He is the embodiment, the monster embodiment of nuclear fallout, radiation. Did y'all watch Chernobyl last year when it was a miniseries on
Yes,
HBO?
it was so good.
Oh my
so
God.
Good.
I've
HBO
watched it.
miniseries are amazing.
I've watched it twice, and it is just awesome. And I'll probably watch it again, but I watched it like twice back to back.
Yeah, that shit was good, dude.
Yeah.
It was good.
And that's hyper realistic, right? Here's the radioactive graphite on the ground, and if you touch it, you die and your skin falls off. And we're going to show it to you. There's another way to deal with that radiation, and that is to radiate a small little lizard who's just minding his own lizard business, and he metamorphs into this giant dragon with not normal dragon fire, but radioactive dragon fire, which is even worse than your regular dragon fire. And so it's dragon fire. And so he represents the going too far of modern science. This dragon represents something of his era that they would understand then because they don't know for radiation. So he represents greed. So how does this work? One way things go bad in a tribal society is when somebody is envious of somebody else. Now, if you see your friend has a brand new car in America, and you're envious of that car, what is your response supposed to be? What is the socially acceptable thing to do with that envy?
Go buy yourself your own clothes.
Right. You go to Louisiana Tech University, you get your good major, you get your good job, and then you buy your own car. These are warriors. If they see something they want, what do? They're Vikings. They're Vikings.
Just go get it.
You go and kill the people who have it, and you take their shit. Which leads to a lot of problems, right? As long as we're going over to England or down into Gaul or, even making it to the New World, although we don't really know it's the New World, fine. But what about when you're fighting your fellow Vikings? That leads to these second thing, the feud, where you kill one of my people, I kill one of your people, and so on and so on. And when does the feud logically end?
When everyone's dead.
Yes, when everyone is dead. Now, you can do the blood gold thing where you pay gold in and solve the problem that way if they will accept blood gold. They may demand vengeance. And so these feuds, once they start, there's no logical stopping place. There's no emperor to come in and say, y'all quit it. You just keep on feuding. So she represents the problem of tribal society, especially warrior ones, in that they tend to descend into feuding and kill each other off. That's how Europeans were able to conquer the New World. They would take these existing tensions between native tribes and play one off against the other. And, you know, if you're fighting each other, you're not fighting us, and we can take over. Finally, when you go out and you lead a successful raid and you come back with gold and shit, as the king, what are you tempted to do with that? Just sit on it. This is my gold. Of course, all these soldiers or warriors went out and fought with you. And so they're going to be
I'm going to use
upset.
the restroom.
What's that?
I'm going to use the restroom. I'm not. I'll
Oh,
be
you
back.
don't have to tell us. So anyway, all of these soldiers, warriors have gone out, they fought, they bled, some of them died, they come back, and they're not getting any of this stuff. And so they're angry. Plus, the economy depends on circulation of currency. So what happens when everybody goes out and buries their money in the backyard? It's as though it disappeared from the economy. It may as well not exist. And so the king is supposed to give out all of the treasure, or most of the treasure, to his warriors, who then go and spend it. And that's how the town keeps going economically. But when you've buried it and you're sitting on it and you're guarding it with dragon breath, then it's not doing any good. I mean, we have literally flooded our country with trillions of dollars to deal with this COVID crisis. And where have those trillions and trillions of your and my tax dollars gone?
The pockets of another rich guy.
Yes, they went to prop up Wall Street. And now you see the news saying, Wall Street's back up to where it was before COVID. Isn't this a miracle? No. We flooded it with money. Of course the prices went up. Guess who did not get flooded with money? You and me. Guess who will never get flooded with money? You and me, because we have dragons sitting on hordes of gold, guarding it against all comers who are not them. All right, so Beowulf goes out to fight. This time he needs not just his bare-handed, also he's old, but also it's a dragon. So he's not fighting bare-handed. He's got a sword, a shield to shield him against the fire, and his assistant Wiglaf. This is the only time he's taken help with him. And he slays the dragon, but he himself dies, which is it for the yachts. They're kind of hemmed in by all these forces, and the thing that keeps them safe has been the strong name of Beowulf. Anybody watch Godfather Part 1? So Vito Corleone, the head of the family, he gets shot and they're trying to assassinate him. And the boys are talking, his sons, and their other, the other people in their tribe, their familia. And they're saying the Don is half our strength. Just him alone, this one man is half of our strength. All of these people, all of their guns, all of their strength, he's half of us. And if he dies, we're in trouble. So that's what happens when Beowulf dies. It's a tragedy, not only for Beowulf, but for the yachts too, who are doomed because of his death. Are there any questions about Beowulf? I want to talk about since we've got time, talk about our, that's tiny. Talk about the project for a minute, the group project. And that way, next time we can get the group started. Okay. Presentations. No, this is the wrong one. Sorry. think this is it. Hi there. Come up on the porch. We're just sitting here watching it rain and talking about Louisiana. Let's try this. Okay, can y'all hear me now?
I can hear.
Okay, good. So I may not have sound. I had sound yesterday. Hi there. Come up on the porch. We're just sitting here watching it rain and talking about Louisiana. Okay, I'm Bruce McGee. The Louisiana College podcast comes out every week. With all things Louisiana, we feel like we're talking about. Louisiana anthology. Now, first I should ask, what is an anthology? An anthology is a collection of texts. Did we talk about this? Did we do this?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you explained some of it yesterday.
We did this last time. It's sounding familiar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You gave us the introduction last time.
Let's skip forward then. That went better than I thought it would. We're already done. Okay. Let's look at our groups for a second. I'm thinking, boy, that sounds familiar. Okay, 210. And I see you're starting to respond. That's good. I'll try to get these set up over the weekend. All right, good. So you put your email in for each other. Oh, and here we go. Somewhere in here, list the top 3 choices that you want to make. And then I will get these set up over the weekend, and we'll get the groups going on Monday or Tuesday. If you want to get a little ahead on that, if you have a Mac, you'll need to put in some kind of text editor like a Brackets or Sublime Text or Visual Studio or any of that. There are tons of free text editors out there. Apple just doesn't happen to send one that really works for web pages. So you can be doing that and save a step or two. But otherwise, there's really nothing for you to do except this, and then I will set up the groups over the weekend, and then we'll be able to move forward. All right, does that make sense? So give each other and this is the email I'm going to use for your Dropbox. So I'll send you an invitation, you accept it, and then, very important, when you set up Dropbox Basic. They'll try to push you with Business Dropbox. They want to upsell you. That's where they make their money. But take the basic plan, which is free, and it's 2 gigabytes. It's more than you'll ever need for doing this. I eventually went to the 2 terabyte plan for $120 a year. I get 2 terabytes of space, which is all the room I need. But, I've got a big project going, so I need more space. All right, any questions about that? And next time we will see, I'll try to set up groups, like divide y'all into groups. I think there's a way to do it. One of you told me how last time and I forgot. Oh, breakout rooms, right?
Yes, but I think he said last time that he didn't know if you could choose who goes into what room.
I think you can. There's a manually versus automatically. So I'll just have to do that when we get to that point. I may do the first couple of groups where everybody can watch what we're doing and then divide y'all out so y'all can be working while I get to you. All right, any questions?
No, sir.
Oh, somebody got here, Matrino. Anybody else come in? We've got Wen, Christian, Campbell, Ardoin, and Alexander. I called. Did they get here?
I'm here.
And again, I'm not counting attendance as part of your grade. I'm just keeping attendance because they tell us to keep attendance. The forums must be observed. Am I still sharing the screen or did I come out of that? I think I came out of that. All right, well, if there aren't any more questions, we will dismiss class. If you need to see me individually, just hang out for a minute after everybody else leaves. Otherwise, I'll see you guys Tuesday.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, guys. I think it's going better than I had feared, so there's that. All right, it doesn't seem like anybody needs me, so I'm about to bug out. See you guys.
Hey, Mr. Bruce, I have a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Because I was looking at some of the videos, and I know we have a quiz on Friday. So what exactly is being covered? I know you said it was Caesar, Genesis A and B.
Right, and Dream of the Road, and Anglo-Saxon period.
Anglo-Saxon and Beowulf.
No, not Beowulf. We'll say Beowulf for next week.
Okay.
Because it'll be Beowulf and Landval, and that seems more balanced than putting all this stuff at the first week. So that'll, you'll kind of get a feel for what kind of questions I ask and stuff like that. So just Caesar, Caesar in the Roman period, Anglo-Saxons in Dream of the Road, and Genesis A and B. So that's it. And it'll be on Moodle, 10 questions, 20 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
When does the quiz close, Professor?
Yes.
When does the quiz close, or do we have to do it tomorrow morning?
No. I'm leaving it open all weekend. People's schedules, I want to make it as easy as possible to take it without. And try to get a good internet connection, because these Moodle quizzes, if there's a hiccup, it closes the quiz, and then I have to reset it for you to take the whole quiz. So if you can get to a place that has better, pretty good internet. Sometimes my internet here works really well, and then sometimes it doesn't. And I know everybody has issues, but it is, if you can get a good connection before you take it, that would be good. If something blows up, let me know though, because we're trying to, I see us being in this together, so I'm trying to help people get through this stuff during the time of COVID, not trying to be a dick. Right? Anybody else? All right, see you guys Tuesday.